The Democrats running for the party's presidential nomination are trying to set themselves apart. We hear a lot about the progressive candidates and their economic platforms and things like a wealth tax and Medicare for all. But what about the moderates? Where do they stand? We asked Kayla Tausche to take a look.
While the progressive darlings of the Democratic Party have stolen the headlines,
it is time for a wealth tax.
A Medicare for all.
A handful of candidates led by Vice President Joe Biden, South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg, and Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar are not so quietly vying for the party's moderate vote, with lower-priced platforms to appeal to the wallets of the middle class, arguing that health care doesn't need to be run by the government.
We can do that without Medicare for all. We can do that by adding a public option.
Expanding some government programs, but leaving private options available too.
The way I would do it is to make sure that the choice rests with you. We're not going to kick you off your private plan if you don't want to be kicked off your private plan, because I trust you to figure out what the right plan is for you.
They all think higher education should be free for some, and that more student debt should be forgiven than is currently, but not all of it. And to pay for it, they'd roll back President Trump's corporate tax cut and raise taxes on certain income brackets and investments. Klobuchar says progressive candidates are obscuring the impact of that on ordinary people.
We have a big problem with our debt, and it may not affect you guys, but it's going to affect your kids and your grandkids. And so I want to be able to show how I'm going to pay for things as we move forward.
Buttigieg supports taxing unrealized capital gains on the top 1% of Americans.
We certainly need to consider a higher marginal tax rate for top income earners.
Biden says closing some loopholes could add up.
Eliminate one tax loophole. It's called stepped-up basis. It only costs $17 billion to the government. That's what we don't. Eliminate that. I can put every single solitary person qualified for community college in community college for free.
Those messages are resonating with some Democrats in early voting states. Polls this week in New Hampshire and Iowa show Biden and Buttigieg in the lead in those respective states. But the leads are narrow, with Warren and Sanders not far behind and 2 months to go before the primaries. For Nightly Business Report, I'm Kayla Tausche in Washington.